Futures now, old man.
What it do, RookieHQ? This is Future First Podcast, where we help you win today with a future first mindset. I'm your co-host Makai here with my co-host Jose. What's going on, dude?
Not much, man. Shout out to the Rookie HQ following. We're building something here. Thank you guys for being a part of it with us. And thank you, Player Profiler, for allowing us into your ears or your homes, however you're enjoying us. So we got another great episode for you guys. So let's get to it.
Do people normally enjoy you through their ears?
I mean, hey, ask my wife. I don't know. We'll see.
I like the lights you got back there, man. Are those new or you just never seen them before?
Yeah, I mean, we're a little more relaxed, more a little laid back in the Rookie HQ. So I'd just change it up. Yeah, so they've always been there, just not always on.
All right. I love it. The Super Bowl is in the rearview mirror. If you guys want to hear our breakdown on it, you can head over to our channel where we have our main pod, and that's at Future First Pod on YouTube, or you can catch us anywhere on where you get your podcasts. And if while you're there, make sure to touch down on that like button and go for two on that subscribe. Drop a comment while you're there. We love engaging with you guys. A little bit of announcement too. We're doing roster reviews. If you want a little bit of help on a rebuild, or you just want to feel good about your Dynasty juggernaut that you've built, we will tell you all of those things. You can send a request to futurefirstpod@gmail.com. We'll also help you out if you want a strategy for a startup where you have kind of a unique league format or something. We're really good at breaking those down. So hit us up. We like to help. We just did one for an entire league. We're going to put that up as kind of like a promo so you guys can kind of see what you're getting yourselves into there. But nonetheless, if you're catching this episode on Rookie HQ, be sure to follow us on our Future First Pod on YouTube. But here we are again in our rookie market value show, where we're just gonna, again, the idea of this show is to track rookie values as the season goes on. We still don't have those quite yet, but once we have those from Player Profiler, or we have them from KTC, we'll start plugging those in and we'll start tracking the movement on these guys as we get new information week to week. That's going to change with the combine. That's going to change with the draft. But for now, what we're going to be looking at doing is treating a player as a pick for now. So today we're going to go over Makai Lemon and treating him as the 102, because that's where we think he should be going in drafts, over Fernando Mendoza. And if you want to know more about, even in Superflex, and if you want to know more about that, you can jump over onto our other feed and check out a whole episode where we just devolved quarterback draft strategy, especially with the class that we have here, and our approach on what it takes to make your rookie picks work for you. Okay, you ready to jump into some rookie market value here, Jose?
Yeah, man. Let's look at these trades.
All right, here we are in the rookie values segment. Let's jump right into it here, man. We got the trades up here with the 102 on the pick. Let's go with this first one here. Just a package of picks here. Who you like better on this one? Makai Lemon, or we have the 105, the 109, and the 411. And if we're translating those into names, we could say the 105 is like a Jordan Tyson or a Fernando Mendoza. The 107, the 109 could be, like a Kenyan Sadiq, or maybe like an Omar Cooper Jr. or something like that. So would you like those pair of players over a Makai Lemon?
No, not at all. I mean, this is exactly actually the type of move that I'm trying to make. I'm trying to package, from the 105 down
Package.
to, yeah, exactly. Little Boston in there. I don't know what happened. From the 105 down to the to the 112, any sort of those two picks. And if I can get into a top 3 or 4, that's definitely what I'm doing. So I'm definitely on the 102 side by a decent amount, especially full PPR. Looking at this start 10, like a full PPR, Makai Lemon could be an absolute monster. Depending on his drafts, all that stuff that kind of goes without saying. We're February 8th, we don't have a lot of information, but just going on prospect alone, I think I'd easily want the 102 here.
Yeah, and that's probably fair to say too that 109 is not Kenyon Sadiq at this point at a full point tight end premium here. I do like Kenyon Sadiq, and if I could get Sadiq and Tyson, for the Makai Lemon in a full point premium, I might pull the trigger on that, but I'm not hopeful that I would get those two players for this pick here. I didn't realize that we were working with the full tight end premium there. I feel like Tyson and Makai Lemon they're comparable. Like as far as like talent goes and skill goes, Tyson obviously has some more of those injury concerns. He had the holy trinity of knee injuries, the PCL, ACL, MCL, which was back in I want to say 2024. He's recovered. He's been fine, but he followed up with a collarbone injury the next season, so missed time there too. I think that's
And this year missed time with
yeah,
hamstrings. So
yeah.
pretty much 3 years in a row that he's missed games due to injuries. Not the same injury, so at least that's something. But there's definitely some concerns about his ability to withstand a full NFL year.
Yeah, and he's talented, like really talented. But is he going to be T. Higgins, right? Where he's great, but only when he's in your lineup, right? Yeah, that could be a big concern. Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Like we're talking about these players as if they're already landed on teams, but they are in fact, we're talking about them as a pick at this point. So, like we might look back at this and they might land in a way that we don't like. Maybe Makai Lemon goes to the Jets, and I'm gonna feel a lot different about him if he lands with the Jets than I would, and I might like the package of players. So I see a world where the 105 and the 109. It's a pretty fair deal for the 102. I feel like the 105 is still within that elite asset range, and I say elite loosely here but it's definitely in the more desirable range that you want to be in for the first round, and then you pick up the 109 on the back end, which I think will still have value as we approach April here. So I don't mind this, but at this point in time I'm just gonna lean with Makai Lemon. That's my boy. All right, let's get into our next trade here. Shout it out if you see one. This one is a little bit crazy. You want to get into this one here?
Yeah, we could do, sure.
Okay. Justin Jefferson and the 105, let's call Tyson again, or Marvin Harrison Jr. and Makai Lemon. Where are you at on Marvin Harrison right now, man? And Justin Jefferson for that matter.
I'm definitely not out on Justin Jefferson. I think, I mean, the fact that there's reports, and I went and checked kind of the source that it was coming from. It wasn't some random person. It seemed like an actual NFL insider, not the big guys, but that with the movement of the GM there in Minnesota, that they are not tied to JJ McCarthy in the same way. The fact that that's sort of rumor coming out in January, February, I think speaks very badly for JJ McCarthy's chances to be the quarterback there next year. And I think KOC doesn't want to waste another year of Jefferson, another year of his career with the JJ McCarthy experience. So I would say that there's going to be a competent quarterback there. Now, maybe not somebody elite, but somebody that can at least get the ball to Jefferson and move the offense and execute in a way that JJ McCarthy couldn't at all. So I am pretty much thinking there's a good buy window now for Jefferson. If people are still scared, people haven't caught on to that. Kyle Williams on that other side is pretty much nothing. A 2027 round 2. It's like I'm taking that into consideration very lately, but for me, it's Marvin Harrison in the 102. Yeah,
Sorry, pause really quick. Yeah, because we didn't say that out loud here. I guess it is on the screen, but in case this ever makes it the podcast format, there is a Kyle Williams and a 27 round 2 on the Marvin Harrison and Makai Lemon side. Sorry, continue, but
no, yeah. those two assets are kind of like whatever. The value that adds to that side of the package is very minimal.
Yeah.
Um, so it's Marvin Harrison Jr. in the 102 for Justin Jefferson in the 105. Um, to move back 3 spots, and like you said, we've been talking about the 105 is kind of the cliff currently right now in two superflex. You're talking about a 10-team league that only starts 9. So it's a very shallow pool. You're starting 90 players um, every week. Justin Jefferson is going to make your lineup way more if he returns to any sort of form with a competent quarterback. Way more over Marvin Harrison Jr., who's trending to be a wide receiver too. Hopefully he can get that elite production at some point. But I think I'm on the Justin Jefferson 105 side by a decent amount.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty sound here because I'm like the same, right? Like the 2027 second and the Kyle Williams aren't doing much for me. Kyle Williams is not doing anything for me in this format. Like I'm surprised he made a trade. Like he's probably a cut since now I
Yeah.
have to make some roster decisions here. I just traded a 4 for 2. He's
Exactly.
just,
Yeah, I mean, in this shallow of a league, yeah, it's wild.
yeah. But nonetheless, like I don't think the difference between Makai Lemon and Jordan Tyson is making the gap up between Justin Jefferson and Marvin Harrison. And I don't think, that 2027 2 is not holding enough weight to kind of make that difference. So I think I'm with you. I'm just on the Justin Jefferson train right now. Seems like a great time to get into him. It's probably the lowest you're ever going to get into him. I guess one concern I might have with this is if I'm, a rebuilder, like Justin Jefferson is going into his age 27 year here, which is, the apex for the wide receiver position. So after 2026, he's going to be a declining asset. Like that's just the harsh reality of what it is. I don't think it's going to be like a steep drop off, right? Like where he's going to go from, the wide receiver 3 to the wide receiver 18 or something crazy like that. It'll be more, a decline. And then let's just call it the AJ Brown track, right? Where we've kind of seen him jump off here in his age 29 season. Yeah, and I mean, you get the youth on the other side with Marvin Harrison Jr., and then you get a more sure thing in that 102. So maybe that's what's happening here, right? Is you have a rebuilding team that just wants some younger assets to get into it. So maybe there's an argument there, but in general, just give me the elite asset in Justin Jefferson and call it a day. All right, let's move on to another one here. Which one of these look different but also interesting? Okay, how about this one? It kind of feels a little like same. But we got on one side. Okay, let me do this. Superflex 12 by 10, full PPR, full tight end premium. One side is Tedero McMillan and Makai Lemon, or Travion Henderson and Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting. I mean it's two running backs basically for two wide receivers, which is pretty interesting. And then you have like I guess they might not both be tanking teams because somebody could have lucked out with one of these picks, but thinking that they both earned these picks themselves, um, I think just because of Jeremiah Love, right? I feel like he is the best player in this league in this whole trade. I want that side, but I'm actually torn. I think it's a very good trade. I think it's value wise. I think Trayvon Henderson, like the way they used him down the stretch in the playoffs. I don't know what Mike Vrabel has against him. It seems like he kind of went back to where he was before, where he was barely used. Like you didn't see much of Henderson, so that was a little concerning. But I've just never been a big believer in Tedero McMillan. His skill set and then having Bryce Young as his quarterback has just really turned me off on him as a future prospect. So I think that just Love will just have the brighter future and the more availability to get value down the road than the other two guys.
Yeah, that's really fair. It feels like, since this is a start 10, you're more than likely starting 3 wide receivers here. So, the wide receivers, at least in WAR, are probably holding a little more value here. That being said, like what we've seen from Travion Henderson, if Ramondre just happens to fade out, and Travion Henderson becomes the guy that we've seen him be. I mean, obviously in the Super Bowl he didn't do, but let's face it, nobody on the Patriots did anything. The Seahawks defense is just insufferable, right? So I think, yeah, this is tough, man. Like I, I think I want the running backs, even in a format where it feels like these wide receivers are kind of king. I think the value is there, but no, I don't know how that process goes. This really feels like I'm gonna have to lean on it, team build and where I'm at in the roster construction there. Um, but yeah, I think I want the running back. Like you said, like the value that those guys could gain me, is just too big here. Okay, let's do another one. This is interesting. I'm curious how you're gonna feel about this one because I know GP is your guy here. All right, so on the left side in a 12 by 10 for a full PPR half point tight end premium, we have the 102, the 211, the 301, and the 309, all in the 2026 picks for George Pickens.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a classic trade where you're trading away the unknown, kind of hopeful, and then you know what George Pickens is. Obviously, it's a big gamble because if George Pickens, I mean, there's already news that the Cowboys are thinking of franchise tagging him. But at some point, he has to sign a long-term contract, whether he decides to play with the Cowboys and figure it out there, or the franchise tag him, and then he goes somewhere next year. You're kind of always waiting for that shoe to drop that, maybe he just takes a giant bag of money somewhere awful and goes and doesn't try on half of the plays for a lot of money because that's what he wants to do with George Pickens. But I feel like you give me what I know. I know what Pickens can be. I know what Pickens can and has the potential to be a top 6 fantasy wide receiver in the NFL, even playing alongside CeeDee Lamb as long as he's there. That's what I'm basing it off of. But it's a scary proposition because in 2 years maybe you're looking at George Pickens on, I don't know, man, like the Jets or who knows, whoever has a ton of cap and it's not fun for a wide receiver somewhere doesn't have a quarterback. And Makai Lemon, will still be on his rookie contract, hopefully on a good team. But honestly, this kind of screams of like somebody use a trade calculator here because like, what are these most random 301, 39, 211? Like those 3 picks in such a kind of bad draft class that we're predicting are pretty much nothing. So I'm just treating it straight up Makai Lemon in a full PPR for George Pickens. And I don't hate the deal. Like if I had the 102, these are kind of the tier of wide receivers that if I just wanted to be more safe with the known commodity in the NFL, I would be looking to make.
Give me the picks. Give me the picks. You know me. I'm a George Pickens hater, bro. Like, I would much rather have Makai Lemon on my team, and I get a 211, a 301, 309. Fine. Yeah, this draft class sucks, but you know what? I have confidence in. I'm gonna find the gems, and someone's gonna overlook them, and I'm gonna put them on my team. And even if I don't think they're there, I'm gonna be able to flip all of these picks. Someone's gonna give me a 2027 second for these, or at the very least, I'll get a 2027 third or two 2027 thirds. I'll just punt them down the road, and I'll have that value that I could use in season, or just make the picks in 2027. Like I would do this for George Pickens for the Makai Lemon straight up. But I'll tell you why this trade's never happening for me. I don't have George Pickens on any of my teams to begin with. Uh, no shares, no
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
I mean, that's if you don't like a player, I mean, it makes sense to not roster him. Like, I
Oh,
think that's fantasy at the same time is also about emotions and like having fun. And if you don't like a player, rostering them doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So
yeah. All right, let's look at this next one here, and I want to bring this one up just because I've seen some trades for Garrett Wilson go down where the value on Garrett Wilson is like screaming to be a buy for me. I don't know where I think we're on the same page there, but in this 10 by 9 full PPR half point tight end premium, we have Makai Lemon going for Woody Marks and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be on the pick side of this one, right? It's another
Ooh.
PPR. I do think that Garrett Wilson is a buy, but you were just talking about that you'd be pretty out on Makai Lemon if you landed on the Jets, and Garrett Wilson currently does play for the Jets. So I think in terms of his ceiling, Makai Lemon is much higher than Garrett Wilson, but it's also been hard because you haven't really gotten to see Garrett Wilson's ceiling, right? He kind of keeps being
Mm.
the wide receiver from that class that keeps being promised, and just I think from a lot of things that aren't necessarily his fault, but none of those things are going away. He still plays for the Jets. Jets still don't have a quarterback. They look like they're in full rebuild. I don't know how many games they're winning next year. So it's hard to see Garrett Wilson as that elite asset that I want to, just because of the Jets stink. So I think I'd take Makai Lemon. Obviously, this is like in a world where he doesn't go to the Jets or he has a better landing spot, right? Like one of the other landing spots I saw in a mock draft today was the Giants. I'd actually personally hate that. I
Ugh.
understand the Batman Robin thing, but I don't know if Jackson Dart is that quarterback to do that for two guys. We didn't see much of Dart with Neighbors at all, right? So I would actually hate that for Lemon. So, draft landing spot dependent. Let's say it's decent to good for Makai Lemon. I think I would take him over Garrett Wilson in this scenario.
Don't do that to my neighbors. Don't do it. Like if they don't draft offensive linemen, what are they doing over there? Like, all right, I'm taking Garrett Wilson, and I know. I said if Makai Lemon went to the Jets, but that was you know compounding the situation where Garrett Wilson's already there, right? Like now he's got to fight Garrett Wilson for targets on top of not having a quarterback. But Garrett Wilson, even with bad quarterbacks, has been not necessarily like a wide receiver one, although he has been there, but he's been a top end wide receiver two at the very least. So even in this format where it's a 10 by 9, like he's hitting my lineup. Plus, I get a scratcher with Woody Marks, and this ain't no like regular scratcher, right? This is like one of them $20 scratchers, where you got like good chances of winning, right? So like I like Woody Marks. I think we saw something good from him. If they just avoid that position in the draft, which honestly, they might be better off. They'll probably add someone in free agency, but I still think Woody Marks will be involved. Maybe he doesn't hit my lineup here in this 10 by 9, but maybe I can use him as a throw in to kind of get another trade in my favor. So sorry, Makai Lemon. Uh, the sweet is just not outdoing the sour this point. That's a lemon joke if you didn't get that. All right. I think we got time for a couple more here. Ooh, how about this one? Makai Lemon
Picks.
picks. Oh, that was quick. Okay. Let me say. Okay, so we got Makai Lemon and I don't know. We're calling it Carnell Tate or Fernando Mendoza. Take your pick, right? For Devon Achan. And you went real fast on the 10 by 10 full PPR. You said picks. You want Makai Lemon and Carnell Tate here over Devon Achan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm ready to be burned by Devon Achan again. Like I was out this last year, and that obviously ended up not being a good take. So maybe I need to kind of recalibrate there. But the situation is just not. It was not great last year, and it was a lot due to how McDaniel's chose to use Achan. They brought in a defensive-minded head coach. I haven't looked up and checked who, maybe the OC and what they've changed, but Tua is still going to be the quarterback. That offense and team still kind of projects to be pretty middle of the pack to bad. Um, so I'm pretty scared for Achan. Like, what happens to Achan if he's not getting the volume? That is he going to be like the rookie Achan, or was it rookie or second season where he was really efficient with just less touches? I don't know. I think in terms of also in this situation, I'm probably sending away Devon Chan and maybe starting a rebuild here, like rebuilding around two
Mm,
young wide receivers. Right, I'm in a full PPR. I'm think like you were talking about earlier, the war charts. Right, those wide receivers get pushed up. You are starting about 100 players, so start 10, like you said. Maybe it's a three wide receiver or an extra flex. Like these two wide receivers here, in no world am I taking Mendoza at 103. Like, I don't care if I don't have a quarterback. I'm just not doing it. If I want Mendoza or I want a quarterback, I'm moving back, you know, the way I would play this, let's just kind of meta game like this is like if I have these picks kind of back to back, I'm taking the 103 and going 104, right? Then the guy in 103, and then I'm taking the 104 and trying to move back to 105, just checking who is this guy coming to get? Are you coming to wide receiver? Perfect. Come get the 104. I'll move back to 10, and just moving back as far back. Like I'm not trying to move back from the 103 to like the 110, but so I'm just taking the two wide receivers, right? Take your pick after Lemon, which of the other two guys you personally like better. Maybe later on, we know a lot more, but I just think that that's a future play that's way less risk built in than Devon Achane.
Oh my gosh, man. I don't know what to do here because like I'm with you. Like I've been fading Devon Achane for most of his career, and I've been just getting burned, bro. And I'm kind of tired of getting burned. Um, yeah, but I mean the situation is changing drastically, right? And this is where these are the dynasty moves you have to make to keep yourself in contention and valuable, right? Like if you think the cliff is coming for Devon Achane, then this is a super smart pick or super smart move to make. Oh man, this is so tough.
I think one of the things that scares me too about Devon Achane is he did get the extra work and he actually was able to pretty much withstand and be stay healthy for what it was at 15,
Yeah,
16.
right. That's the one knock that we've had on him.
Yeah, but he didn't do that much with that extra work. He had over like it was 30 plus touches, which is not a ton, but he didn't do that much more with it, right? Like in terms of his points scored, he still finished as the running back 5. He scored about 23 more points than he did last year on like 30. His metrics across the board,
Yeah.
his yards, everything came down basically.
You
Besides his receiving work, like is he going to get in this new offense 87 targets? I mean, the logical brain would say they would use their best player besides Waddle now that Tyreek Hill's probably gone into nothing. But is he going to see 80 plus targets in this new offense? That's not McDaniel's offense. Like I don't know. And if he doesn't, if that gets cut in by 20%, 10%, like what happens to Devon Achane, right? Like in this full PPR setting. So I do think if you're a contender, right, like you're looking for running back help, I think this is a, a ballsy move to make, but I don't hate it. If you're anything else by like a serious contender, I'm taking the picks.
that's that's fine. I I'm like thinking about this. I have a league that's kind of similar where it's a 10 by 10. It's a best ball league, but I have Devon Achane and it's like I don't think I'm taking the 102 and the 103 for Devon Achane. I can't, I don't think I'd be able to pull the trigger on that. So just because of that, like I'm just gonna lean Devon Achane here because bro, like I know what you're saying. Like the points were down for him, but like when you look at what he gave you, on a week to week basis, it may not have been consistent, but he won you weeks. There were, he's putting up 40 points in a week, right? And it's not just on receptions. It's he's just that home run hitter that he'll take a 70-yard house call, right? And then like he'll do that in 2 times in a game. It's not a fluke. Like he's so good. Like I'm hoping that the only thing that kills him is like getting Ollie Gordon more involved, right? Like that's the only thing that kills Achan here is like I'm not worried about his receptions dropping 10% from 80 to 72. Like I would be worried about his touches, going from, like a 60% rush share to like a 50 or 40% rush share. Like that would make a big difference. But yeah, I think at this point, like I just got to roll with HN because I can't, I don't think I'd be able to pull the trigger on the other guys. All right. We're at 30 minutes here. That was fun, man. I'm enjoying this a lot. I feel like we should keep this going. Like let's keep doing this.
Hey, as long as they'll have us, I don't see why not. We didn't get the channel banned or just anything bad. So so hopefully they'll player profile will keep having us back here. And yeah, man, it's a different take a different vibe, and it's a lot of fun.
It is. It is. You guys can also catch us on our other pod. over on the Player Profiler Now Plus stream, or just look us up directly. Also, shout out to Chev for commenting on our video. Man, I listen to him a lot for prospects and you know, just Dynasty advice in general. I feel like he's got a really good Dynasty mind. So shout out to Chev, appreciate you. Yeah, man, let's keep this going. Next week we'll look at the 103 again. As we get these rookie values more locked in, we'll start looking at those market movers there.
Yep, 100%. Thank you guys as always. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you guys can do to help us out. We really appreciate it.
Share the channel, send it to your friends, get RookieHQ. Let's blow it up. Let's get it to, I don't know, let's get it to 200 subscribers by next week. Let's do this. All right, everybody, peace out. We'll see you next week.